Welcome. My name is John Flett. I'm a pediatrician who spends my time helping all ages, right from young children right through to young adults, with ADHD and conditions that allow thinking and learning differently. Now, ADHD is a very complex condition. It is not a problem of simply concentration. ADHD kids and adults have too much concentration. They have difficulty with self-regulation. They have difficulty with controlling that concentration. One of the fundamental key understandings of ADHD, to me, is illustrated in that movie Back to the Future. If you understand Back to the Future, you're going to understand ADHD. You know, ADHD is a problem of 7 executive functions, those self-regulation functions of your brain. The things that you do to yourself every day to make sure that you unlock what you got. And one of those key executive functions is something called working memory. Something that you've got to keep in mind moment to moment to be able to take an instruction, keep it moment to moment, and complete it. Not short-term memory. Short-term memory is remembering a telephone number, looking at it, keeping it in your mind, plugging it into your phone, and kind of it's out your memory probably within a couple of minutes. You see, working memory is something that short-term memory has to kind of convert. It's got to mean something. It's got to have an emotional tag to move into your working memory. That is something that you store, that you hold, you lock onto, like a GPS. The coordinates, where you've got to kind of travel, you've got to kind of take those visual pictures of that movement, even verbal instructions, and you've got to carry it out and complete it. You see, Back to the Future is Michael J. Fox caught in the now, wanting to go back to go forward. With ADHD, kids with ADHD don't quite have that same sense of time. Younger kids probably remember a couple of minutes. Even at high school, it's probably kind of a day or hours. They say at the age of 30, your maximum ability to plan ahead is probably 12 weeks. And what I want you to understand is how important that working memory, that ability to hold in mind, to bring up visual images of the past. You've got to go back. You've got to bring up visual images of your past. You've got to have that store, that reservoir of images of things that you did in the past. You draw on that knowledge to help influence you today so that you make a better decision for your future. And you've also got to look ahead. You've got to be able to anticipate. You've got to have foresight. You've got to think ahead. That's a little bit more complex for kids. But think about it. If you don't have the ability to go back and to the future, you're unable to change the way that your decisions are made. Otherwise, you're a victim of the now. You kind of don't have that free will. You have to impulsively just deal with whatever comes in your way. You kind of are just dealing with everything that comes. You're not able to benefit from the experience of your past and anticipate. You know, I saw a child recently who, he's 6 years old and he's quite a busy kid and he likes going on his bike. He likes to just ramp over a ditch and he keeps doing it. But he keeps falling straight onto his bare knees, scraping himself, injuring himself. And he keeps doing it because he can't remember that he did it in the past and it wasn't possible. He doesn't have that foresight. How about anticipating, predicting? making sure that you, on time, you don't procrastinate. A deadline that comes up, you don't do things in a kind of an emergency. You don't kind of live your life like a tsunami at the last moment. You're able to predict, you kind of plan ahead. So in order to really effectively manage ADHD, you have to have a sense of your past and anticipate in the future. You can't be like Peter Pan, trapped in the now. You know, too much thinking in the future is anxiety. Too much stuck in the past is depression. And stuck in the now is ADHD. ADHD approved medication is incredibly useful in being able to unlock that executive function, to be able to take instructions, keep them in mind, make sure that you make the right decisions based on your past experiences. So kids with ADHD, you can say to them 5 times. You can say to them, you know, Ethan, take that towel, put it back on the rail when you bath. But Ethan leaves it on the floor. He's messy. He doesn't remember to put away his clothes and his toys. And you think, well, is he insane? Is he crazy? He doesn't have good working memory. He can't hold those things in mind. Working memory influences reading comprehension, mental arithmetic. It has a huge impact. Treatment, not only medication, sleep, diet, exercise, unlocks cognitive ability. So when you think about the Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox in that DeLorean going forward, that is what ADHD kids have got to do. They've got to have a sense of their past and anticipate. ADHD medication makes a huge difference. Make sure that your child consistently takes their medication. It is not a school problem, it is a life problem. And I'll talk to you soon.